Alright everybody, welcome back to the End of the Storm qualifier. Puszek team against Spartanien is our match today, and we have Tomb of the Spider Queen as the map. Puszek team decided to go into an Azmodan composition. They drafted the Auric early on so that he can help with the stacking process, and also they went into Khaldor. And that was an interesting pick because Spartanien had a chance to ban Khaldor out, but they decided against it and apparently believe in their chances to end the match early on, or at least get a lead that is big enough to make sure that they win the game. Spartanien runs with two very tanky frontliners. They have Anuburak and also Johanna, and one of the things that also is very strong on these is the lane presence. They can really push a lane back quite easily with Anuburak, with of course also Knight takes pawn on Johanna, and really help with the pressure. And their backline is going to deal the trick here as well. We have Zagara and a Zebo, so two really good heroes if you want to zerg down your opponent early on, and that has to be the strategy here for Spartanien. So pretty cool setup to go into this game, and well, we're gonna find out which team is going to be able to advance here today at the End of the Storm qualifier. So guys, get ready. Tomb of the Spider Queen with Spartanien versus Puszek. Alright, second try. It was difficult. Alright everybody, welcome to another End of the Storm qualifier match. We have a pretty cool game on our hands with Sparta going up against Puszek, the German team, against the Polish. And to the left side of the map here in Tomb of the Spider Queen, it is Spartanien with Nomi on Johanna, Grulum on Anuburak, we have Glucosa on Uther, Frieza on Zagara, and Coco on Zebo. So double warrior, double specialist for the pressure on the lanes. And to the right side of the map, the Polish setup with Puszek on Leoric, we have Uberim on Azmodan, Go Terror on Tyrael, Krego on Khaldor, and Juf on Malfurion. And yeah, we have an Azmodan composition once again, and this is going to be a pretty fun game. The whole idea here, of course, is once again to reach the late game, especially when you are playing Azmodan together with Khaldor. You are prepared to lose a few forts at the beginning of the game, and that is quite normal when you're playing a composition like this. The cool thing for Puszek, on the other hand, is that they are running with a Leoric in this case, and Leoric is not only great to prepare waves for Azmodan, he's basically in the same role as Johanna oftentimes is, which is trying to do that, but we also have them in a situation where Leoric can put so much siege damage in that it's going to be pretty easy for him to just like keep the pressure on the lane, and like deep pushing the lanes is what it's all about then later on for this setup, just because you need to make sure that Azmodan is going to survive here. So trying to screw with the stacking process, that's one of the jobs that Spartanien has now, and there we already have exactly that happening. Grulum has to be a bit careful. So in the early stages, when we have this rotation happening, I guess that we are going to see a pretty solid situation for Puszek, but then in the mid game they should fall behind a bit, since Frieza, Coco, they can really push down a lane. They can also get the vision on the map thanks to the creep tumors on the side of Zagara, and they will probably just aim for one Web Weaver wave after another to push in the lanes against Puszek. So for Spartanien, it's all about the strong early and mid game that they are going to use here, whereas Kreku and his boys will have to try and reach level 16 so that especially Khaldor does a lot of damage, but also of course sorry, not Anuburak, but Azmodan gets an opportunity to really get the pressure. Now already trying to make that work. It doesn't really work the exact way that they are trying to, you can tell. With only Leoric and Azmodan, it's a little bit more difficult to really get the stacks in. Normally you want to have at least one more hero that can help out with that, but Uberim is doing as much as he can here. The level 1 talent is of course the one that's really the most important here, going into the taste for blood. Having also Leoric suddenly in a bit of trouble, going for the Wraith Walk. Wow, that should not have happened. Puszek dying in a one-on-one situation against Anuburak. It's not too big of a deal because he's back after a few seconds again, but of course that's a very unnecessary death in the early game. They are trying to get now the wave, and they are able to get it. But still, like, losing a hero like this, a bit of XP as well, that is a quite uncomfortable position now for Puszek team. They go for Hardened Bones again on level 4 on their Leoric. They already did it in the last game. We're having Coco rushing away here. Actually, he was really low already. Puszek on Leoric was using his Vain Hope to screw with him here a bit. And cool, we are seeing a different build on Anuburak. Anuburak actually going into something that's a little bit old school style. Elysium has played a similar build once, with Locust Needles on level 4 that gives you additional pushing power, and that means that they can push these lanes in even harder. I now like that pick on Anubarak a lot more than I even did before, because with the Beetles he's already a great hero, but if you go into that level 4 talent, of course you give up on those extra Beetlet spawns every 8 seconds, but it's a great talent if you just want to push a lane back, and that's something that Puszek will have to deal with. So that is really sick. I'm liking that a lot. There's another option on level 7 as well, where they could try to do something very similar with the spikes that they have. So I'm curious to see if that happens. It was in the old days when, before, like, I think like 1 or 2 patches ago, when Elysium played a build like this on Blackheart's Bay and roamed between the top lanes, the mid lane and the top lane, to get as many of the globes as Anubara could possibly get, and he alone was able to just like keep the experience on 2 lanes while the rest of the team pushed the bot lane with 4. That was actually pretty sick, and I like that a lot. And currently Spartanien is taking a page out of that book and is trying to just utilize that same strategy. To a certain extent at least, to just advance their pushing abilities in this game. I'm liking this. Uberim, of course, is still stacking. Currently he is at 100 stacks already, 4 minutes in, so a very solid performance already by him. And yeah, I was a bit surprised that Khaldor wasn't banned out by Spartanien. They had an opportunity to do that, but instead they banned out Mirrodin. I don't really think that they needed to do it, but I think they might have been a bit afraid of any kind of like stun lock composition here next to Anubarak. But right now, sorry, not Anubarak, Azmodan. I keep mixing those up today, I'm not quite sure why. So once again, another wave, and it's completely taken out. Puszek helping with this. 57 gems on the side of Puszek, the Polish team with a very solid process here. We're having Bed of Barbs, by the way, taken as the level 7 talent here now on Anubarak. We're seeing Conviction. On the other hand, up to the top lane, it's again Azmodan getting his stacks in. And you can see that the web weavers for the blue team are the first ones to spawn, as already expected. We have creep everywhere, so vision is great for Spartanien. They pushed in the top lane to a certain extent already. But the stacking process is really going well for Azmodan. I mean, he is doing some solid damage already, mostly against minions, and so he shouldn't really focus on team fights yet. But this is going to be scary. Paralyzing Rage, again at level 7 talent on the side of Leoric that he's going to be using here. Infernal Globe, of course, for Azmodan. Fission Bomb for Khaldor. And now all of those lanes are being pushed in by the Web Weavers. Uberim can really help out with this, by the way. It's cool also to sometimes see on level 4 an adjustment. There's a few adjustments that you can make when you go for the All Shall Burn talent to burn down those Web Weavers even faster. But we still have 4 Azmodan now bound minion taken on level 4. But it's nearly a level lead already that we're seeing for Spartanien. I mean, it is to be expected that Spartanien is getting ahead in the game. That's something that Puszek team completely realized from the beginning when they went for the Azmodan draft, where they just said, alright, that's fine, we can deal with that. Oh, they can't lose Puszek though. Oh, the wave! Wow, he nearly died there, didn't he? So yeah, he needs to move away, and fast at that, but they countered the Web Weaver wave. So at least for now, they did well. We have 45 stacks still on the side of the opponent. Nice job here on the side of Kraku with his Flame Strike, even more stacks for Azmodan, and they're getting the experience in again. But Frieza is of course pushing, and he's pushing hard. And this is now once again one of those waves where Uberim has to start really dishing out damage against heroes, which he doesn't want to do. Like, Azmodan wants to just sit there and farm against minions the entire time. He doesn't want to do anything else for as long as possible. And currently Puszek on Leoric is helping him out. We have Juve as well with a Moonfire that he can use when need be. The stacks at this point, just to have another quick check, are at 184. So nearly 194 actually. So 200 stacks basically around the 7-minute mark, which is very, very solid. And we have only level 9 for them thus far, but still, this is a pretty good position for them to be in. We're having Blessed Shield taken, Web Blast, there is also Divine Shield, Amor, and Gary the Gargantuan. It's all about the pushing power for Spartanien. Having the Nazeebo, having the Zagara here, pushing in that build that we've already talked about on the Anubarak. A nice addition. I really, really like that they just switched the build up a bit for Grulum and said, okay, we need even more pushing power against this because we need to take down a keep before Azmodan and Khaldor are going to become this huge lineup that can just like poke us to death with the Globe of Annihilation. And that's exactly what they're currently trying to do here, of course, with the Black Pool. Here again, pretty big hit, in easy peasy stacking, of course, for Uberim and Azmodan. The Web Weavers are descending again. We have 100 gems on the side of the red team for the Polish team. But it's still, they can't move into the mid lane because they didn't have their heroic ability for such a long time. And when they finally hit, there was already another completed turn-in for Spartanien. And that's exactly what we've been talking about earlier. You play this composition, you are prepared to lose these structures. You know it's going to happen. There's very little that you can do about it, but already those globes are starting to hurt Ulum, and they hurt him a lot. And Uberim is still using that pressure. The only question is how much damage can Spartanien do? And they are trying to move in against Puszek. He's rushing away. Where's the Condemned? Blessed Shield is being used. 35. He has 35 gems, and Leoric is most likely going to die here, isn't he? Yep, there's the Entomb already being dropped, but that doesn't help anything at all. If, of course, you can hit that Entomb later and then one of those globes hits, then it's a completely different story. Uberim decided to not go for the globe against the heroes, but instead threw into the mid lane to drop another wave, and also uses the bound minion now to push this one back. The keep so far untouched, but Spartanien is trying to end this. Spartanien is moving in to drop that wall. It's level 12 versus level 11, but we're still seeing Uberim with his damage up to the top lane, getting another wave done. Looking at his globes right now, once again, we're actually seeing him at 230 extra damage by now. The cap is, of course, at 500, but this is another 10-12 damage that he now has. So he's really getting somewhere with this build. Now level 13 versus level 11, 5 more levels that you have to survive, and oh, that's a problem. Yeah, that should not have happened. Tyrael dying there and losing 40 gems, that's a big deal. That is a huge blow. You need to play a bit more passive than that. It's very tricky to let these structures go, but Tyrael actually screwed up a bit here. He should have moved back much faster. He didn't, and losing 40 gems is a big deal. It's a really big deal. So that was a problem. It is still a problem. They already lost gems on Leoric, but Tyrael should have definitely moved back a bit faster than that. Now they are in a situation where, of course, especially with those double spell shields that we're seeing on the side of Spartanien, it's going to be a bit more difficult for Azmodan to do enough damage. He's using that again with that quick globe and gets another wave at the bot lane. Survival is everything. Surviving long enough to really get the damage out with Uberim, to make sure that Kreku gets his flamethrower talent for the extra range on the flame strike, and then later on also ignite so that he can apply the living bomb to every single target that he hits with flame strike. That's going to be the really important deal here. If they can survive, then they are golden. Doesn't matter how many structures they lose. As long as they have still, like, let's say 2 keeps there, they are going to be good. Well, Puszek is actually double checking up at the top lane if there's maybe even an attack onto the boss by Spartanien, which is not really happening, so he can always move back with his Wraith Walk if he wants to. As another wave taken. And Uberim, just to give you another quick idea, is currently with Azmodan on 300 stacks. 300 stacks, that's really when you start to do solid damage so that you can take down an opponent's hero as well. The Web Weavers are descending again. For the 3rd time now. The 3rd Web Weaver set is now descending, and this is where Spartanien is also trying to push that together with the Siege Giant camp at the bot lane. It's a very tactical match now. The 2 kills that we've seen earlier against Leoric and against Tyrael should have been avoided to keep those gems in-house, but still, now they are trying to do what they can to just make sure that Azmodan is going to become this weapon that they're going to need. Bot lane is being pressured already. Flamethrower is now ready. We're seeing also, well, Life Seed on their hands. They're moving in again. Here comes a big hit. 1,000 damage already against Gary and that wave. That did some work. But there's still a Gunchurn in play. Is taken down now. Uberim with another big hit. And he hits Coco. But it looks like this keep is going to fall. And the Web Weavers in the mid lane and the top lane are pushing now again. They are already rushing in. Judgment being used for a second here. There's the Entomb. And where's the hit? Where's Uberim? Oh, gets more than more. And the attack against Khaldor, who uses the Gravity Lapse. But a double kill potentially against Leoric and Tyrael. Leoric still alive. Drops in the end now too, and well, it looks like Azmodan at least was able to get away, but look how low Spartanien is. They lost the Nubarak, and they're gonna lose Johanna. Puszek can slow them down. That's exactly what he does against Glucosa. Can somebody maybe move in and do a bit of damage here? Doesn't really look like it's gonna happen. Uberim is still pushing those lanes back and making sure that those Web Weavers are not dropping the keeps, but you can really tell that now with 16 against 14, things are already starting to become a bit more difficult for Spartanien, because now we have finally Puszek team in a position where they can attempt to fight back. As Crushing Hope already used, so the extra damage that you have on this one, they're attempting to turn in a Web Weaver wave would go a long way right now. Roaches, they get the turn in, alright, not the completed one yet, they need still 11 more, and that's where Jouf comes in, but Ulum with the attempt to stun him. Again, the damage on Azmodan. We have him now at 400. He has 400 stacks, so solid damage on him. If we just compare the damage in general a little bit, just like siege damage and everything, Azmodan is at 116,000 siege damage, has 21,000 damage against heroes. That's not too much, but it's also not bad if you compare what the other heroes have. I mean, the best hero in the game when it comes to hero damage is Nazebo with 24,000, and Azmodan hasn't even really started to participate in those team fights, because so far it was a bigger priority for him to just take care of all these other things, like using the damage against the minions, especially against the waves where he wants to stack. He's closing in on 500 now, and it's level 15.5. The boss could potentially take down a keep. Puszek on Leoric is getting dropped again. Nah, the hits from Barim not good enough. This 3-point throw was not on point. But now this keep might fall. The thing is, though, that we nearly have level 16 for them. And once level 16 is hit, it's going to become even more scary. Frieza takes a hit here. Of course, even with the spell shield, that Globe of Annihilation does some serious damage. And Kraku has his Phoenix that he's using for zoning purposes now, too. The Red Weavers are descending again, and that's exactly what they needed. They are going to lose the keep, but they're not going to lose the game. With the Web Weavers moving in right now, they are deep pushing the mid lane. They have also a nice push going on at the bot lane right now that could potentially take down 1 or 2 of the towers. And up here, they're just getting more stacks together for Uberim. The boss went through the keep, but that's it. And now there it is. Ignite has been used. So at the end of this mid-game, well, now that we are approaching the late game, we're having 1 keep destroyed and nothing else. But it looks like the rotation down here is trying to drop a second one. Smart move on the side of Team Spartanien. They lose Johanna in the mid lane. She got taken out here, but they were able to rotate and take down the keep at the bot. Terror is moving in right now on the other hand. Web Blast already being used. Everybody's trying to get this one. Nice hit against Frieza and Coco. Are they going to be able to take and 2 maybe in play? Puszek, does he have the rogue ability up? No, 20 more seconds before it's up again, and they're dropping Glucosa now, aren't they? There's the Divine Shield. He's rushing away, trying to save himself, but Kraku is already in hot pursuit. Damage done. Terror about to jump in for this kill. Glucosa is not going to get away here. That's just not going to happen. There it is, the kill against Uther, and the fort at the bot lane that was annihilated. So all of a sudden, it is the Polish team who's starting to do some serious work here. They are in position where they can put the damage in, and just look at Azmodan. 31,000 damage by now. He's really starting to take the numbers in. He was at 22,000 the last time we looked, and now he does even more. A nice pressure up at the top lane, making sure that this fort is also being pushed in. And in the mid lane, Entomb already being used here. Nice Phoenix on the Entomb. The kill against Zagara. Uther is still dead. There's no healer. And Coco is getting sniped by Uberim's Azmodan. Azmodan is once again doing work and serious damage. The mid lane is now being assailed. Uberim has to move back on the other hand since he's running out of mana. But this is exactly, of course, what they were attempting to do here. Looking real quick at the stacks on Azmodan, by the way, he is at 474 stacks, so he will hit the 500 in just a tiny little bit. The builds here on level 16, we're having, in this case, the Consume Vitality taken. So also pretty cool to have the extra sustain on Leoric. Nice attack against Skrulum for now, but he got also cleansed out. So Glucosa is trying to help them with the defense. The problem really is that they're now having a keep being attacked. Johanna up at the top lane was trying to push this lane in, but now she had to teleport back. It just doesn't feel like they are going to be able to make anything happen when it comes to the defense of this keep. 1 is down, so it's basically like the situation where Spartanien still has 2 keeps available, and we are seeing only 1 in the mid lane ready for their opponent. But it's not, this game isn't over yet, not by a long shot. That's always the situation that you end up, and this is one of the main reasons why I actually was expecting a ban on Kel'Thas that never happened. I think it would have been the smarter ban for Spartanien. We're seeing now, in terms of damage, Kel'Thas on 38,000 and 35,000 for Azmodan, who by the way is rocking 170,000 siege damage now. Can easily take down a wave with 1 single shot. Looking on the other side of the map where we're having the German team rocking, we're seeing 38,000 on Nazebo in this case, and another camp taken for both of the teams. Siege Giant camp on the side of the German team, and the Polish team went to take the Bruiser camp right over here. Azmodan is going to get his stacks up for sure to 500. Actually, like, he is at 500, I suppose. Let me double check that for you. Yes, 500. Maximum stacks for Azmodan, so he's gonna do all the damage that he needs to do in this case. This is going to be very, very dangerous now for the German team. They're trying to turn in again, and by the way, talking about experience, we have level 20 now, even faster on the side of Puszek team. They are running this with a Spectral Leech, so that the basic attacks also deal bonus damage, which is actually kind of nice, and also heal, so it's pretty tricky. It's one of those things where you would love to have an Azmodan, an Abathur in your composition as well, so that the Auric hits a bit faster. Good hit there, but only against Frieza. It doesn't hit more than one target with that Globe of Annihilation, but they're moving into the mid lane now, and the Red Web Weavers are descending too. The interesting thing is that Puszek team is rotating. Oh, the Entomb, and a good hit once again. Judgment being used to take down Zagara, but the cleanse is ready. They're moving into the mid lane. They seem to try and end the game, but they lose Tyrael. Oh, and the 3-point throw from Uberim, taking down an Uberak. Nomi proccing the invincible talent on level 20 here. His Johanna was nearly dead, and Puszek team is apparently trying to end the game. They're not even bothered about going into taking down another keep or anything. They don't really care. Azmodan is staying in the back line, just trying to get another globe in. They're playing this slow. I'm a bit surprised that they're not just simply trying to take another keep down. They're just rushing in the mid lane here. And the globe once again getting ready. Where's the Barim? Where's that black pool? There it is. And the hit. Not really hitting anything. At least not Coco, who was the damage dealer in this case. Puszek also missing his Entomb. That's a bit of a problem. Releasing it right away, but they still killed Zagara out. Very well played here. Once more, Coco low. Redemption now taken on Uther. He's been waiting with his talent, as is quite normal. But with another hero now dead, it looks like Puszek is going to advance to the bracket. They're moving in once more. Trying to take down Coco, maybe. Nope, they don't have the damage, and he blinks away with the Bolt of the Storm. But they're going straight now for the core. And this is looking very, very bad for Spartanien. They are trying, though. There were blasters there. Spartanien with the defense. They kill the Auric. And Kreku on Kelthas is dying as well, as Juve and Uberim have to move away. So pretty cool. They defend after all 78% on the core, and now they can just rush back. Looking at the numbers for a second, we're having now in terms of hero damage 58,000 and 49,000 on Kelthas and Azmodan. If you're looking at the heroes for Spartanien, then we have 66,000 for Nazebo and 42,000 on Zagara, so still pretty solid. Azmodan with nearly 200 siege damage, 200,000 of course that is. One of the reasons, by the way, why the redemption talent on Uther is taking this late, while a lot of Uther players are waiting with it, is first of all, you don't have to take it early. You can make the decision to go into a Storm Shield if you want to during the fight, because even if you die, as long as your ghost is still there, you can also take the redemption talent, and it is still going to proc, so you're going to be safe on this part. And there's another reason, like sometimes you want to die. If you, for example, find yourself out on the map, you get ganked, and you know that if you use your redemption, you're just gonna be killed again, then sometimes it's better to let yourself die and take redemption later. It's rare, but it happens. Oh, good kill here against Zagara. Spartanien was moving into the throw pit, and this is what Puszek team is trying to contest. Azmodan is in a bit of a pickle, though, and a potential kill against Glucosa. Oh, Zagara is dead, and Uther is now dead too. Grulum is about to be killed as well. The throw pit, it has its name for a reason. The kill against Glucosa, and once more we have 3 heroes down for Spartanien, and this should be the end of it. This is now the Polish team moving in. Puszek is on a victory dance now. They are moving into the mid lane. Coco is the only one who's still alive here, and he is not going to make it, at least I don't think so. There's already a flame strike hitting him together with a living bomb, and they are just lasering away with the all-shell burn on Azmodan, trying to take down the core. Puszek team moves on to the next round of the Enter the Storm qualifier. Really well played, and congratulations to the Polish team. Solid performance here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And Puszek takes the win. They are able to take down Spartanien here. And again, Khaldor and Azmodan really coming through for the team here. You could really tell that Khaldor, basically, starting with level 16, of course, with this Ignite, suddenly brought all that damage that they needed before. So very well played here by Puszek. For Spartanien, probably in hindsight, 2020, they would have banned out the Khaldor this time, I suppose. But still, they played a great game here. But Puszek was just a bit too strong in those later stages of the game and running with an advantage here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So once again, pretty cool match here, especially with Azmodan. We also always see a lot of fun there, and having Leoric in the game, of course, helps as well. Leoric definitely a hero that I'm currently really fond of seeing in these pro game matches, and he is being played a lot, and sometimes even banned out as one of the first bans. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this match as much as I did, and if you did, then make sure that you give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to Khaldor TV if you didn't hit that sub button in the past, and guys, I hope I see you soon for more Heroes of the Storm content here on the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in once again today, and I'm going to see you guys next time. Have a great day, and bye-bye.